Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, as of July 1st, there could be a lot of problems in every sailing this year going to Alaska for the short term. Every sailing. Here we go again, folks. Also, we have a couple who went on a cruise. They loved it so much, they booked the same cruise line for a back-to-back. And yeah, apparently it was night and day between the two cruises. As of July 1st, the union representing the longshoremen in British Columbia, Canada, that includes Vancouver and Victoria cruise ports, voted 99.24% to take up strike action. Yeah, and people say, well, what's the big deal? Well, if this happens, they can't bring the cruise ships into port. That means no cruise ships leaving from Vancouver. Also, no cruise ships from Seattle able to stop in the Canada port to complete the regulation that they have to stop at a foreign port. Now, representatives are scrambling right now to come up with alternatives. For instance, I don't know about leaving from Vancouver, but as far as arriving in Ogden Point for British Columbia, the cruise port, you could just pull into the shore, not get anybody off. That would constitute arriving in a foreign port, and that would keep the law going, no problem. It's just one of those things again. Can you imagine the uproar if once again Canada messes up Alaska? We had that issue during the pandemic when Canada wouldn't start their cruise ships, but everyone else was. And we were worried. They passed a law for a year saying that they could bypass Canada. They didn't have to do it. And many, many governors and state senators and everything wanted that to be a law permanently. And they managed to get away from that. Well, if this affects all those cruise ships, you're going to see a huge scream and a huge call out for exactly that. Now, will it be a full-blown walkout and strike? Probably not at least at the beginning. Things like job actions will be, they'll understaff a cruise port, causing a huge delays, etc. They may not have anyone show up at one particular cruise port and walk out that one day, leaving the ship stranded in the port, or not being able to get in and dock in the port, which would, of course, affect your Alaska cruise. Things along those lines. I hope they get this settled. One thing we do not need is for all of a sudden to be that uproar over, hey, you know what? Canada's messing around with our Alaska again and all of our Alaska cruises, and they're going to start losing money and everything. We got to change that law, and guess what? They may stop coming to Canada altogether. Because, so what if it's a $3 billion industry in Canada for tourism? If we keep interrupting their sailings that affect Alaska itself, they're going to change the law and they're not going to come. So I hope they get this solved, but as of July 1st, Canada Day, by the way, they are able to take job action and go on strike. Next, I have a story about a couple who went on a cruise. Before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, including your Alaska cruise that just might be affected in the coming weeks, if not days. I hope it really doesn't happen. Please hit the subscribe. We'll try and keep everything as lighthearted as possible, but I'm going to keep you informed on all the news stories so you're best prepared for your cruise and maybe even save you a little time and a little heartache and a little money at the same time. And again, if you hit the subscribe, it really helps the channel out and I really do appreciate it. All right, a couple went on a P&O cruise. And they loved it so much. They had such a great time. A retired couple. They retired early so they can travel before they were, they get too old and not able to get around as easy. they wanted to travel. So they loved P&O so much that they booked a back-to-back P&O cruise, one to Norway and then into the Scandinavian region as well. Well, apparently they were not happy. They said the ship was dirty, the cabins were unkept, they seemed to be an afterthought to the staff, the food was terrible. They said it was complete night and day from the other P&O cruise they took. The question is, they never said which two ships they're talking about. I don't understand why they wouldn't tell us which two ships they were talking about. They just say it's a P&O cruise. And they showed pictures of glasses that still had lipstick marks on them. They showed the kind of food that they were given, like bacon that was just pure fat, no meat on it at all, and actually looked gray. And along with some other photos of there. Now, some of the local media in the area in Britain and everything picked up on this, and they've sent questions into P&O, and they've showed the pictures to them and said, hey, what happened here? What's going on? And so far, P&O has not answered back there. And it brought me up to the question is, I've never in a long, long time been on a dirty cruise ship. I've been on old ships, right? I've been on 20 and 25-year-old ships, but I've never actually gone on a cruise where I've said, ugh, this is gross and this is disgusting. I haven't been there. And I've been on 149 cruises now, 149, and I've never come across that. So I'm wondering out there, have you come across a cruise ship in recent memory that was actually, you would say, really dirty and kind of disgusting? Like the food was really bad and they didn't upkeep. You found marks on the dishes. The tables were dirty, the floors and carpets were dirty, your room was dirty. I haven't come across that, I'll be honest, and I go on a lot of cruises, folks. Now, grant you, well, I can't say that. My last cruise, I was on a 15-year-old ship, so I do go on older ships, but I generally am trying to get on the bigger, newer ships to show everyone what the new ships look like. So leave the comment down below. Tell me what ship, how long ago, and what exactly was the cleanliness issue. Because especially since the pandemic, I've really noticed an uptick in the cleanliness on the cruise ships. And I haven't seen a real dirty cruise ship. That's why this article kind of surprised me a lot. Now, I haven't been on P&O cruise lines, so I'm only taking these people at their word, but they also said they loved the other ship they were on. It was beautiful, it was clean, it was fun, the food was good. So is it a difference between maybe getting on one of the newer P&O ships and getting on one of the older P&O ships? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and until next time, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.